Hello, I am your host, Kathy Chester, and welcome to the Move It or Lose It podcast, a podcast about all things that move the mind, body, and soul. The Move It or Lose It podcast is for information, awareness, and inspirational purposes only. I am not a doctor, and I don't even play one on TV, so please consult your doctor before making any medical decisions. The views expressed by advertisers, guests, or contributors are their opinions and not necessarily the views of the Move It or Lose It podcast.
So I kept getting into it with the head of physical medicine there, and so then by chance I had an opportunity to try the myocycle.
Okay.
I did this thing, this clinical trial called TMS therapy, which is brain
Okay.
stimulation,
Yeah.
and they wanted to see if it was beneficial for MS. So while I was there, um, my doctor that was doing the TMS, I asked her about the myocycle, and she was familiar with it. She's like, "Oh yeah." She's like, "You should try it while you're here." And I'm like,
Right.
"Well, what do you mean? Where's?" She's like, "I can set it up at Ohio State. They have a physical therapy department. They have a myocycle there. You can go try it." So I did 7 sessions. I did the TMS therapy for 6 weeks, and during that 6 weeks, I did 7 sessions on the myocycle, and my leg strength improved by 60%.
Wow. That's a
So
really
right
big thing.
there,
So, I mean, that's huge. Your leg strength in how many weeks?
I was in Ohio for 6 weeks for this clinical trial, and over that 6 weeks period, I did the myocycle 7 times.
Yeah, that's
So,
really, really
and it
amazing.
wasn't like I was doing it every day. It was like I do it once a week maybe.
Okay.
And by the end, my leg strength improved by 60%.
That's really good.
So I had the physical therapist write me a letter basically saying, how much I improved. So I had that evidence to provide the
Right.
VA. So, and it took me a couple years to get the myocycle from the VA, just because, mostly because if I knew what I know now
Yeah.
and had to do it all over again, it wouldn't take 2 years because I know the process now.
Right.
But
Sure.
so I
So
wasn't
would
really
you be able
familiar
to
with the
help
process.
others, other vets get that?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I
Okay.
mean, I could guide them and, let them know what they need to do.
Right. Sure.
Um, but basically you have to file, if you get anything denied by the VA, you have to file an appeal.
Okay.
And they have what they call patient advocates at the VA,
Mm,
and they can help you. They help veterans, fill out the paperwork for that.
sure.
So I filed my first appeal, and it immediately got denied again.
Okay.
So then,
So that's a
um,
second denial, right? First denial,
that
then you
was the
did your
that was the
appeal.
first official
Okay.
appeal denial.
Okay.
Before they just denied it,
Denied it, right. So
out of my
together, you're
request.
on your second denial.
Yep.
Okay.
So they denied it on my first appeal. They denied it again, and um, it wasn't really clear on why they were denying it. So I talked to, there was a little change at the VA where they created a new department, and it's called the Pain and Spine Clinic.
Okay.
And they specialize in anything, neurology, all that stuff. So I got a new doctor there, and he was like, "I want to advocate for you to get this. Who do I got to talk to? Who's the head of physical medicine? Blah blah blah." So
Sure.
I gave him all the information that I had, and the woman at the VA would not return his calls. So he gets the head of neurology involved. She won't return his calls either.
Wow.
So um, while I'm in Ohio, she calls me, and she's like, "Yeah, why do you keep requesting this thing?" And so I'm telling her,
Because MS doesn't go away.
yeah, I'm like telling her, I'm in Ohio and I just tried the myocycle and my
Right.
leg strength improved by 60%. So,
Right.
your argument is invalid because
Right.
everything I'm doing is in a positive direction. So they so I filed another appeal that gets denied again. So at this point, I'm reaching out to my like local congressperson,
Okay.
um,
So I like that
and
because I think a lot of
people, not just vets, but a lot of people, I think we just give up. It's just that
Yeah.
exhausting feeling of like, forget this is too much. And,
Yeah,
with
and
the
I would have
MS and
given
all
up
that.
too probably if I tried the myocycle and it didn't do anything,
Right,
you would have
right,
never heard anything else from me. But
right.
the fact that it worked,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm gonna fight to the death for this thing.
Good for
So
you. Because that's the
um
most frustrating is when something works and it's like, okay, no worries, just I'll be fine. You don't have to like help me with that. But
right.
so you finally, was it the third appeal?
Yeah. So what I found out is when I talked to my congressperson, or I talked to someone on her team,
Hmm.
they said you have to keep filing appeals. So after the second appeal was denied, I was like, well, what am I going to do now? So I called the congressperson again,
Hmm.
their office, and they were like, well, you have to file a third appeal.
Okay.
They said your third appeal goes outside of the VA to a
Okay.
board, and the board looks at it and they approve it or disapprove it.
Interesting.
So when I filed my third appeal, it went to this board and they approved it for 12 weeks.
Okay.
So they said the VA will give it to you for 12 weeks. If you can show that it works, then it's yours.
Okay.
So I got the myocycle in April of 2024,
Okay.
and I rode that thing every day
I was gonna say, did
until
you
I
just ride it
until
constantly?
yeah, until I no longer needed a cane or a walker. I rode that
That's
thing like
awesome.
crazy. And
That's
like
really awesome.
it only took maybe 6 weeks.
Yeah. Yeah. And that it
And
really is like obviously the whole podcast and what I love is that movement is our biggest defense. And when we decide
right,
like we've just quit, we're not going to move, well, that's your death sentence, really. That's when you're atrophy. That's when you are going to be in a wheelchair. And
right,
so the fact that you fought that, I think, impressed me so much because people want to give up on those things. And I think the struggle with it is that you kept going because it wasn't the first appeal. Well, first off, without even appeal, you try and they say no. Then you appeal it, no. Appeal it again, no. Third time you appeal it, and then it goes to the board. You have to do it for this many weeks to show that it works. So they obviously then were like, okay, this works.
yeah.
And
Yeah, and
then,
I had to do like every 30 days they would have me come in and get evaluated by the physical therapy department at the VA just to make sure that, they could see a change.
yeah,
And I blew all their tests out of the water every time I went
good.
there. So,
Did you just go all Marine
um,
Corps? Like, I'm not losing this. I will win this.
oh yeah, yeah. I mean,
And
I knew that once I had it, that I could
yeah,
prove that it worked. So,
sure. So
and they
now
were
you've
all
had it.
they were all amazed when I go to the VA now and they're like see me walking,
Yeah.
unassisted. They're like, "What did you do?"
Now, is this
So,
something that is for you're a vet. Is this something that other MS patients could get without paying the full price? Because it's quite pricey. So
yeah,
what is
it's like a $13,000
right?
device. Yeah.
Yeah. So I
So
mean, it is a bit of a price,
yeah.
especially when you've got so many of us on disability, things like that. So what are some of the things that you would advise people who couldn't afford that, but who really need that because they're in that place where they know they're losing strength in their legs, they know they're losing stuff, and they're like, I'm working and working. I don't
Right.
want to go into a chair right now.
Yeah, there's it's hard to say if you're not a veteran. I mean, I can tell you all kinds of different resources for veterans, but
Right.
now I do know that Mylan works with your insurance, so
Okay.
they they might you might be able to work
Right.
something
A
out with your
percentage off.
insurance. Yeah.
Uh, So what
Um,
about like as far as vets go? This is really important because there are so many vets that have multiple sclerosis or different, obviously brain injuries. Obviously, we're not the only autoimmune disease. We've got rheumatoid and lupus and Crohn's and all sorts of fun things. So,
all right.
how many vets do you think know that they can fight for some of these things? Introducing the Pulse device. Cutting edge, wearable device, revolutionary, wellness designed to stimulate circulation, reduce harsh pain and tightness, and speed up recovery. The Pulse device uses advanced vibrotactile technology trusted by patients, clinicians, and wellness professionals. Whether you're recovering from an injury, battling a neural condition, or just want to feel the best every day, Pulse helps you recharge so that you can live and feel better. Lightweight, powerful, and easy to use. Experience better performance, better recovery, and a better you. Order now and save $30 using my code MSDisrupted at pulsedevice.com. The Pulse device is your health recharged. You won't be disappointed. Get it now for yourself. I have it. I love it. Go ahead and grab it.
I don't think a lot of them do.
Yeah, because I don't hear
I
that
mean,
very
I don't
often.
know. Sometimes I'm on these calls at the VA where they do like a information session kind of thing.
Uh,
And I was on one time and there was a couple people with MS and they were in wheelchairs. And I told the lady about the myocycle and that, I told her, I was like, don't tell them I told you, but you should
yeah,
request this device.
don't meet with
But
that lady. She doesn't like me. But you're able to at least help them with some of the information. Like this is how you do it.
yeah,
And yes, this helps.
yeah.
Don't give up.
And I think part of the problem is the Detroit VA, they're
Yeah.
not familiar with FES. But I went to the Cleveland VA one time a couple years ago, and they have a whole department dedicated to FES bikes, and no one there could understand why I was being denied it.
Okay. Right.
And they even have a research department that where they're creating their own FES bike that you can ride outside.
Wow.
So you
That's
put the
pretty cool.
electrodes on and yeah, and ride your
Yeah.
bike outside.
Get some vitamin D.
Yeah. So
That's
I
really
found
good.
that if it's an inexpensive thing, the VA is really loose about, yeah, we'll
Yeah.
send you that. Because
Sure.
I've got tons of devices that they've sent me that help. I mean, there's a device called H Wave, which
Mm,
is for pain and some other things that, it's the same lines as the myocycle. Like it has these electrodes.
right.
And that's what I found that helps the most with MS is anything that like any kind of stem is
Right.
very beneficial, I think,
Yeah.
with MS.
I know that you
And
got the Pulse device, which,
yeah,
that I love. I feel that that helps so much with spasticity and also I was just doing a heavy workout and used it, and it helped a great deal, just strengthening that vibration and just strengthening my legs and my other parts of my body that just feel weak or are spastic. So you were already kind of ahead of that before Pulse device, before you had that. You were already understanding that, okay, there's something with this vibration thing, and there's something that helps stimulate them that I can use parts of my body I wasn't able to use.
yeah, even like getting a vibration plate and just
Yeah,
stand on it, it
right.
can strengthen your legs. Just the
Yeah.
vibration helps
That is a
strengthen your
really big
legs.
one, and I've seen that, and I don't have one yet, and I should get one because I know that we've learned so much about feet and how important that is and being barefoot. And, there are so many feet issues that we have with our different autoimmune diseases that we don't quite understand yet. So I think
Yeah,
that that is a really important thing too, are the different plates and again, there are things when you get that, that's not a super expensive thing, but it's always kind of that wondering, okay, I've seen this on Instagram, 40 times. Does this really work? And so I think making sure that can I get my money back if this doesn't work? Can I afford to do this right now? And looking at obviously the reviews, being able to talk to people that if you're in a support group or something like that, talking to them and saying, like, I use this works, and getting some of that. Um, Now, would you ever like do you ever get an opportunity to talk at the VA about like your MS? Have you ever been able to do that?
no, and I haven't really met a lot of veterans at the VA that have MS. At least not that I'm
Yeah.
aware of. I mean, they
Yeah.
don't go around saying, "Hey, I have MS," but
They don't wear a big shirt that says,
right.
well,
But what's
yeah, I'd
funny
be curious.
when I was researching the myocycle, I was trying to find a veteran that had one
Yeah.
because they were like, "Oh, we have, veterans all over the country that use this." So
Right.
I couldn't find anyway. And then I found this guy on a video on YouTube who was riding a myocycle, and it said
Wow.
in the description, it said he was a veteran. So I um I took that video and I started researching that video, and I got his name from the video, and then I found out um the guy runs some business in California. So I called
Okay.
his company and talked to him, and he's like, "Oh yeah," he's like, "It took me a while, but he's like, just keep pressing them, and
Okay.
you'll get it eventually."
Good
So
to know for the vets that are,
yeah,
and that's like just really big on my heart that like, you fought for us, you fought for our country, and you come back and you've got this thing that you've got to live with for the rest of your life. And you have to fight so hard to get it. And so that would be what I would love to do is just to get that out there that, have the VA look at this more, but also have some veterans be able to see this and know that you can do this. You just have to put more work into it. You will have to appeal. And I know that people are going to want to get in touch with you after just to see like how did you do it and how'd you begin? Because it's nerve-wracking to do that, especially for our people that have like cognitive issues and also for those that are alone and think that's a scary thing too. And
yeah,
your support is really your parents and your brother and stuff like that. You've got that support system, which is great. And I think that's super helpful also. So what would you say if you had someone in front of you right now that was a vet and with MS or with something like that, and could not use their legs, what would advice would you give to them? And just really felt like, I want to give up. I'm exhausted, nothing's working. I just wanna put the towel in and say, "Forget it, I can't do this anymore." What would your
yeah,
advice be to them?
yeah. It's hard because the way MS affects everybody differently. I come across people that it's like they just lost all hope, and they're like, "I don't want to hear what's worked for you because
Right.
your symptoms aren't like mine. It's not going to help me."
Yeah.
And I think, excuse me, I think you
Back
just
in
have to.
Michigan, are you excited to get all the colds and stuff from the
Oh yeah, it's great. But I think you have to have the right mindset. Like I
Yeah,
just have a mindset where, yeah, it sucks, but I'm just gonna do. I have to make the best of my situation. I have
right.
to, like, before I got the myocycle, I was like had this thing. I just bought a house, so I was moving
Mhm.
into the house, and I was like, okay, I want to make this room, my bedroom, like a
Right.
place that I don't ever have to leave.
Yeah, I remember you
Because I
saying that, and
didn't
I
think
was
I
like,
would.
"Oh, that's so sad," but
Yeah, because
you
I
are
didn't
right in
think I
saying
would.
that.
Yeah, and I my mind is, I don't have a lot of lesions on my brain. I only have
Uh,
like maybe one. So my mind's still good, and so I was trying to adapt things. Like I used to play hockey, I used to snowboard. I
right,
can't do that, so I
right,
was trying to create other things that I could keep my mind sharp and entertained, and um,
right.
come up with new hobbies and stuff.
Yeah,
So
which is so
I
smart, and without you
yeah,
even realizing how many people I talk to with MS that try to go back into what they did before. So if they played football or they played basketball, they'll try to go back and doing that. And I remember trying to, without my vision, trying to play baseball because I love sports. And I didn't even see the ball go by. So
right,
it is, and that was very smart of you to do because we have to figure out, okay, what's next? I'm not giving up, but I've got to find things that work for me. And for you, you didn't even think you were going to be able to walk. So if I'm gonna stay
right,
in this room that is now gonna be my everything, where I do all my work, where I do my workout, where I do my TV, my Netflix, time, whatever I do is gonna be in this space. But and yet, I think that's very difficult to plan for something that sounds like worst case scenario and then keep your hope up as well that this won't be forever because I'm going to fight this thing. So that's kind of tricky. So is that your Marine Corps brain, or are you just like that in general?
It's probably a Marine Corps thing.
Right.
So, but I mean, yeah, I mean, I think a lot of my attitude and everything was instilled in me when I was in the Marine Corps, and I just
Yeah,
carry that with me.
sure. Sure.
But I remember Mylan has reached out to me, and they've had me talk to people that are considering the myocycle, and then I do a group ride with them where
Yeah,
other people get on and everybody talks about.
right.
So I'm
That's one that
always
I
trying to
saw.
pass on. Yeah, always trying to pass on things that I've learned
Right.
about MS to other people. And some people get offended. Some people. I remember there's this lady on YouTube or Facebook who she talks very intelligently about MS, and
Uh-huh.
people ask her questions. She gives really good answers and explains it. It's almost like she was a doctor or something, but she was.
Yeah.
But I remember I commented and I'm like, hey, you should try, have you ever tried this or this? That's really worked for me.
Right.
And then like her next video was like, people need to stop telling me what they've tried and have I
Yeah.
tried this or I need to do this, I need to do that. And I was like,
Mhm.
well, I'm not telling you need to do it. I'm just
Right.
offering my experience.
Right.
So
And for what they said. And it is tricky because a lot of people um who I mean MS depression is part of MS. And when you feel, depressed, sometimes we lash out and not realizing like that was completely uncalled for. And but good for you that you at least gave that open to her, like, hey, this is something that I've used. And I know I get that all the time from when I'm teaching. Like, well, yeah, it's easy for you. You teach, you don't have, do you even have MS? I for sure do. But it is, I think, from the very beginning, exercise, it was just that thing. It connected with me and I never stopped. So I would say that you've been doing the myocycle now for how many years have you been using it?
since April of 2024.
Okay. So definitely something that you would recommend, and hopefully other people would have a different experience, but with the VA. But so this is something, and one thing I wanted to ask you too before I go into the last direction is help people who don't know what TMS is. What is that? Is it just for veterans? What is it for?
No, TMS is transcranial magnetic stimulation. So what they do is they put this thing on your head and they target. Um, they know like what certain parts of your brain do, so they target those areas, and it kind of wakes up that area and helps it function better.
Okay.
So the myocycle and TMS,
Mhm.
both those things changed my life so much because
Wow.
before TMS, when I was doing the TMS, I didn't have the myocycle yet. So before TMS, I work 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. And by the time I would get off, I would just go to bed and
Wow.
watch TV because I would be so fatigued and exhausted. And then I started doing that TMS,
Mhm.
and it completely got rid of my mental fatigue. Like I was not
Wow.
mentally exhausted every day.
Now was that
And
covered as well?
so that was a clinical trial, and it was
Okay.
open to veterans and first responders.
Oh, okay.
And um, I just got an MS specialist at the VA. They just got one, but I do see one outside of the VA. And when I saw something about, I was watching a veteran video, and they were saying how
Mhm.
they were treating veterans with PTSD with TMS.
Uh,
So I called my doctor outside of the VA, and I was like, "You ever heard of this TMS therapy?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "I got a clinical trial going on right now for
wow.
MS." He's like, "If you want in it, let me know. I'll get you in it." So he got me in it, and I had to go to Ohio for 6 weeks, but because I work remote, I can work from anywhere. So
Right.
I just took my computer down there and I'd come home on the weekends, but I'd spend the
Mm,
weeks down there, and I was doing daily TMS. And it was kind of a nice program because as part of the TMS, they assign you a physical therapist.
okay.
And so that I had a physical therapist I'd go to TMS in the morning. And then after work, I would go meet the physical therapist at a local gym, and he'd work me out in the pool and, do
Yeah,
stuff in the pool. And I think a combination of all that,
sure. I mean, the pool is
just,
great to
yeah.
have as
So,
well.
but just the fact that I don't have the fatigue, the mental
Yeah.
fatigue was just, a game changer for me.
So has it helped also? Does it help with like anxiety, that kind of stuff as well?
Um, yeah,
Okay.
probably because I know they do use TMS for anxiety and
Okay.
depression. So it's FDA approved for, I think,
All right.
PTSD, anxiety, depression, and I think migraine headaches.
Okay, interesting. So another
Um,
thing that I assume that a lot of people don't know. So those are two big things that I wanted to highlight with you is that, there are things that we hear about that are just like, that doesn't really seem like it's going to do anything. But I definitely want people to look more into TMS and look into the myocycle. There's always things that we can do and ask for help. I mean, that's why we're doing the podcast is so that you can ask for help. And if there's confusion, like I'm not really sure how to get started, call Dennis. You can
yeah,
message him and get in touch and see, how it's worked for him and for other Marines that or other vets that have done this. My father, I have to say, was in the Army, not the Marine Corps, and so I think that it's so important because we have so many vets that are in need of things that are alone. My father was in Vietnam, and we all know that depression with our Vietnam vets is crazy and very high. And so I think that we just need to get the word out more. And I love having with my podcast having things and like that we can talk about that isn't just for our neighbor next door that has never served, but people that you'll touch that I can't touch, but I can at least have a platform for us to talk about why are vets not getting what they need. And so I want to dig into that more with you next. Um, but this one I really wanted to focus on when you were diagnosed and how you've kind of fought with them and really worked with them to get this and to kind of get the needs that you have. And not to mention you are a single father with a daughter. That's got to be exciting. So to understand
stressful.
all the drama. But I mean that's a lot too. And for you to be able to do that, I mean, Lord knows you need a lot of help. So those are some really big things and important things. And so for today, that's what I really wanted like our listeners to hear is just how there are things out. What's new? We have to advocate for everything. So we have to do a little bit more work, but don't always think it's on your own because sometimes that's too much for us and it's okay to ask for help. And that's why, we're doing this today. So I can just say, Dennis, thank you so much for it. I know we're going to do more. And I wanted to just really thank you for making this situation and just even kind of sparking the conversation so that we can understand the things that are for us and are for our vets that they just don't know about. And I think there's a lot of information that we need to help out with this. And if we use this platform, great. But vets that don't know they can get some of these things. And so
Yeah,
thank you.
I think there is a lot. There's lots of veterans that, especially the older veterans, they seem
Yeah.
to not want to deal with the
Yeah.
VA as much. And
I
I'm
think
like,
they
what are
have
you
for
talking?
so
I'm like, this
long.
is where all your help come from.
Right,
You got to
right.
push them to do it.
And I think that's a
Um,
big part because you aren't one of the old guys and you are able to say, wait, like don't give up yet. Like we did something big and let's get what's given to us. Like we deserve to have this. And
right.
so I think that's important with your knowledge to be able to say to some of the vets that are like older or some of them that are just too depressed. And for you to say, yeah, me too. I was really depressed to get this stupid disease but I chose to not give up. And
I had this guy at the VA. He told me he's the head of the head of prosthetics. So a
Okay.
lot of times, whenever you try to get a device, sometimes you got to go to physical therapy, and then they send you to prosthetics. And so I was asking him, I'm like, why is this being denied? This is a device that's being given to other veterans all over the country.
Right.
And he told me his exact words were, just because one VA does something doesn't mean they all do.
That's what I was gonna ask as well, is that not obviously, because 'cause we've talked about the Detroit VA, they're all not the same. But you
Right.
can't switch, you can't go to Virginia VA if you're in Detroit. So
Right.
that's a tricky thing. If you are in a state where or in an area where the VA isn't the best and you're going there, then I would think I'd wanna give up and say, "Forget it, I don't have a great place to go." So, you would just say, "Keep pushing, keep the appealing," because regardless, after that 3rd appeal, it goes elsewhere. It goes to a board, not just to the VA that may not
Right.
be the best one.
Yeah. The key is to have your doctor advocating for you. Um, because my original doctor, when I told him about the miles cycle, he was like, "Oh yeah, it sounds like a good thing. I'll put in the request for you."
Yeah,
But it wasn't until I had all these other people advocating there too
right.
that I think it made some progress. So
And again, just advocating, and I
they
know it
either
gets
agreed with me
exhausting.
or they were just so sick of me. They're like, just give it to him already.
Give him the dang thing. We don't wanna hear this
Yeah.
guy anymore. But
Yeah.
it's
So
so awesome that you have it and that and it's such a good testimonial too because when we feel so many of us feel like it's not I can't they're just not going to work anymore. You were able to prove that wrong and say no, I'm not giving up, and it's working very well for you, and I think for so many others it will. So thank you for being on today. I won't let you get away with not being on again, but thank you for doing this today, and just again truly thank you for your service. And I love getting more knowledge out and awareness, not just about multiple sclerosis, but about the things that we're able to use that will help us. And so, thank you for presenting that to us tonight and giving us an idea of some of the things that we can use that will help us and ways that are not easy, but that we can get it. We just can't give up.
right.
So,
Yeah. Thanks for having me. I love talking about MS stuff. So
yeah, I mean, who doesn't
anytime.
love MS?
Right.
No, but really, thank you so much, and I'm looking forward to our next one. I've already got one set that I want to do with you, so I look forward to it. And at the end of this, you guys will have all of your information. What is if they want to get a hold of you? What's your Instagram?
My Instagram is just Dennis White.
Okay, and anything? Are you
Um,
on any other TikTok or anything like that?
yeah, I'm pretty much Dennis White on everything, I think.
Okay, very
Twitter, I'm
creative.
Dennis White.
Just kidding.
Yeah. I do have, I'm working on a website called
Okay,
mymsadventure.com. Um,
we didn't
so
say
eventually,
that. You had all this time to tell
uh,
us about your adventure. Well,
well,
we didn't hear about that.
it's a work in progress. So
What adventures are you gonna be doing? Rock climbing?
no, it's just, I wanted to build like a community
Yeah,
and just like a blog that, I could post my experiences.
right.
Because I used to post some things on, like I've posted things on Facebook, and I had a lady reach out to me who she's like, tell me more about the mile cycle.
Yeah,
And so I told her about it, and then she found a place. I think she lives in North Carolina, and she found a place in North Carolina that has one. And that's why I tell people, if you can't afford it, find a physical therapy place that
yeah,
has one. And that can be hard because when I was there was no place in Michigan that had a mile cycle.
right.
And then when I went to Ohio, they're like, oh, there's one at Ohio State. I was like, great.
Yeah, yeah, well,
But
do
if
we
you could
have one
find
now
one,
here?
I don't think so. The other device I tried was a
Yeah,
newbie.
so those are yeah, those are amazing.
So when I was looking into that, there's only one lady in all of Michigan that has one.
Yeah. I mean, well, they're
And she's
expensive
like,
as all get out,
yeah,
so
and she's like 45 minutes away, but I went there and did it, and I was impressed with the device. I
wow.
think it
Yeah, it
worked.
is.
It was just kind of expensive, like I think
Yeah.
$120 a visit or something. I
Yeah.
wanted to go like every other day or something.
Right. You're
Yeah.
right, but it is a very cool thing. And if you can go to a place that has those things, awesome. But I know a lot
Right.
of states do, but I have not found one in Michigan. But yeah,
Yeah.
that's really cool. Well, again, thank you for this. Thank you for being with us on Move It or Lose It and truly doing what it is about, what the podcast is really moving our bodies and than we used to be able to, but ways that really strengthen our bodies so that we can fight back this disease. And so my favorite is disrupt the hell out of MS. So I like that. And thank you for being on. And we
Yeah.
will
Thank you.
see you guys next week and hope you enjoyed this. Don't forget to give feedback and please subscribe. Make sure that you do. That helps us so that we're able to have sponsors and things like that. So I want your feedback and I'd love for you to subscribe. So thank you so much. And I hope you guys have a great night. Bye bye.
Thank you so much for joining me for another episode of the Move It or Lose It podcast. It would mean the world to me if you subscribed and left a review. Remember, you can find me on Apple, Spotify, Stitcher, and YouTube. New episodes of the Move It or Lose It podcast air every other Wednesday. If you have any suggestions for future guests or topics, please visit my website at www.msdisrupted.com. Until next time.